Well, how do you do, Buckaroos? This is Joe Leydon for Cowboys and Indians magazine, and it is my pleasure today to be talking with the Oak Ridge Boys. The Oaks have two significant anniversaries coming up, events coming up this year. It's the 40th anniversary for their iconic hit, Elvira, and it is also the soon-to-be release of Front Porch Singing, which will be out on June 11th, which is a great album. I've had a chance to listen to it in advance of covers of great songs from the past and some new material. So, boys, first off, why don't you each of you introduce yourself to the folks?
Well, I'm Dwayne Allen from Northeast Texas, Taylortown, Texas, to be exact.
There you
That's
go.
just south of Paris, Texas.
I'm Joe Bonzel, and I come from just a little bit northeast of Taylortown, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Richard.
Well, I'm Richard Sturbin, and I'm from New Jersey, and it's important to note I am from southern New Jersey.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm William Lee Golden, and I'm from South Alabama, right south of Bruton, Alabama, right on the Florida-Alabama state line.
Well, country music love is everywhere. My father was from County Sligo, Ireland, and when I was growing up in New Orleans, he would always bring me to bars that had country music on the jukebox. So there you go.
Well, I've got some Irish in me too. On my mother's side from North Carolina, they're the Collinses, all from Ireland. So we're related, maybe.
Well, I wonder if preparing for and recording Front Porch Singing was your way of kind of holding on to your sanity during the pandemic lockdown.
I think that's very well put, Joe, because, the March before we recorded in August, last March a year ago, as you know, we all got shut down. And especially, not especially, a lot of people suffered, but everybody in the music industry, they just turned our switch off and told us to go home. And the buses got parked and home we went. So for us to go in the studio in August at the height of the pandemic was a great cathartic feeling for us because we were getting to see each other, be with each other. We hadn't done shows, so now let's get together and sing. Man, we want to sing. We Oak Ridge Boys sing. It's what we do. And the creative process is always healing. And we found a great way to record this album with the front porch singing attitude. Like you said, old gospel, new gospel, old country, new country. And we maintained this concept of making it like we're sitting on the front porch singing to you. And it felt great because, man, it gave us something to do in August and to go down there to the studio, RCA Studio A, every day with our great young producer, Dave Cobb. And we kept our protocols in place. We separated, we only had Dave Cobb and an engineer. Then Dave played guitar, and we had a percussionist and a bass player is all we did. And the four of us separated ourselves out, but yet had a ball singing. And the concept rang true. And here we are now with hopefully that the pandemic and all that has come with it is starting to fade away a little bit. And maybe there's a light at the end of this tunnel, and we're going to be singing out there to the people again. And we'll be taking these new songs, some of which are very, very inspiring for the day and age that we're living in. So it's an exciting time all of a sudden for us.
Was that why you chose that particular cut from the album for the first single release?
Well, we didn't pick it. A record label picked it.
Oh.
And I think that might have had something to do with it, because if there's anything that the Oak Ridge Boys would like to put out as a message, we would like to put out a positive message. There's a lot of negative going around right now, not just about in the pandemic, but in our world today. And the Oak Ridge Boys are all about bringing people together. We think we do that with music. And when you come to one of our shows, we don't come to preach to you or tell you about how you should think. We basically bring your whole family. You're going to have a clean family show, and we hope you leave our show feeling better about everything than you did when you came.
Well, talking about the live shows for a second, do you guys think you could ever get away with doing a concert and not sing Elvira? I mean, would this be like the Rolling Stones trying to get away with not singing "I Can't Get No Satisfaction" during a concert? I mean,
That's a very good analogy, Joe, because Elvira is the law. The Oak Ridge Boys will sing Elvira, probably get arrested. In fact, I could think of times when we've been at a big outdoor festival or a big outside show or a fair, and it started to thunder and lightning and pour rain like about halfway through the show. And we might have been singing Leaving Louisiana in the broad daylight, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Elvira. and, we, and man, let's get Elvira in before that thunder and lightning hit. And we have even done that I think you can count on one hand. In fact, there was a time just a few years ago, we did something somewhere where the storm came in so bad that they made us run off the stage and get in the bus and made the audience scatter. And we got on the bus soaking wet and looked at each other and said, wow, we didn't sing Elvira. So it's very rare, almost non-existent.
now, as I understand it, the first time you actually performed Elvira in public, it was at a sound check for the Tonight Show?
That's true. We were actually scheduled to be on the Tonight Show. We'd already done our sound check with the band, with the Doc Severinsen Orchestra, so to speak. And we were out just playing around, and we started singing Elvira. And there were a few people in the audience that started clapping their hands and playing along. And some of the band was left over there, and they started playing with us. Out came production people from the control rooms, the TV, the video people, the sound people, the production people. And before we got through the song, there was probably 25, 30 people there clapping their hands with us. And we knew we had something special. And that's the first time we really did it. We had just finished recording it. And the next night, though, was the night that we knew for sure we had magic. We were in Spokane, Washington, and we were about half into our show. We had already had 5 gold albums by that time. We'd already had 12 #1 songs. And we decided we would show them a few songs from our new album that they had not heard. We did 2 or 3 of them. Then we did Elvira. The place came unglued. We had to do encore and then another encore. And we went into the rest of our show and finished up our show, and they wouldn't quit clapping. We had to come back at the end of our show and come back and do Elvira again and again. And we called our record label and said, something's happening with this song, Elvira. You better pull it up and consider it for the very next release. So they pulled the song up and started planning so that would be a summer release song, so that it would be peaking during the summer months, because we could all envision Mama singing the verses, Daddy doing the Papa Mau Maus, and the kids before seatbelts were coming up in between the front seats and doing the giddy ups, and they were all out on vacation in summertime.
There you go.
And the whole summer long, that's exactly how it happened. It was screaming up to the top of the charts just as we were getting into summertime. And then it just screamed to the top of the charts. And then all at once, it crossed over into the pop top 40 and just kept going all summer long, right into the fall. Everybody in all genres of music was singing Elvira and Papa Mau Mau.
Well, that was back during the golden age of top 40, where, a top 40 song was a song that was selling very well. I mean, I grew up in New Orleans, like I say, and I can remember, I'd hear that on the rock and roll stations.
Right.
And right after that, they played the Rolling Stones. So, there you go.
Yeah, Elvira crossed over all genres. It was an amazing time for us because it took us from being a big time country music act, to be honest, to a household name. And shows like The Tonight Show and many other network shows that we did back then solidified it, because then people knew that it was the four of us singing Elvira, which I think was a very important part of the success. It ain't like you just heard a song and boy, I like that. Who is that? No,
Mhm.
people knew that's the Oak Ridge Boys singing Elvira, like they do to this day. 40 years later, we walk through an airport and some guy yells, "Hey man, Elvira, ooh, baba, meow, meow." It never wavers. So it has maintained for 40 years. And when we sing it at night now on our shows, it's just as exciting as it's ever been.
Now, William Lee, I understand you've recently published a new book.
Yeah, it's coming out, I think at the last part of May, about 3 or 4 weeks from now. So, yeah, I've been writing, working on that for the past year or so, and working on that plus 3 other CD projects with my sons. We've cut 32 songs together, plus the songs that I've done with the Oak Ridge Boys. There's been 40, 42 or 44 songs this year that we've been in the studio cutting. So it's been a lot of creative process going on, and I think that's what we've all needed in all this pandemic, after going through it and being at this part where we're at today. It's been one of the healing things of us getting to go in the studio and record with the Oak Ridge Boys and me with my sons, and uh, it's and going back and visiting our own roots and music and where we're all coming from. So it's makes us search ourselves, and it's been healing mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually for all of us. And as we all know that through the pandemic, we as people are like we're an oval as people. Our heads are oval. We have 4 sides to us. We have the east, the south, the west, and the north. And is what the Indians teach us that the east represents the mental, the south, the emotional, the west, the physical, and the north, the spiritual. And we've all been pushed into 3 sides here of our psyche. There's a fourth of us that's been pushed away from our spiritual side. And the spiritual healing of music, how it's brought us back to life, and nurturing our own spirit, where that through the pandemic, we've all been shut down and denied access to our spiritual outpouring. And so that's what we have found, that's helped heal us mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, was being in the recording studio. And that, with my book coming out, I've been working on 5 major projects here for the past 12 months. And so it's good to be here today with all of those projects finished. And we're here now getting to feast on the product that we've actually been part of creating, and we've been able to have a creative outlet in our hearts and our soul.
Well, I hope you're still painting. I saw that fantastic exhibit of your work some years back at the museum in Nashville, the watercolors. And have you had any time to do that?
Painting and things.
Yes.
No, I haven't recently. It's been a while since I've been painting. I've kind of been out doing photography sometimes, landscape photography. But my book kind of tells about some of my life story, and it's I think it probably focused, the writer was probably focusing more on some of my relationships with the different women in my life than he did on the different music in my life. But it's
Oh, I can't wait to read it now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I bet
but
there are a
it's
lot of
what it
women out there
is.
thinking, am I going to be in this book? Maybe I need to order it from Amazon right now.
So anyhow, it goes back to my beginning and kind of where I'm coming from. And but yeah, I won't get into all that, but there's stuff in there that maybe I know some of my wives. Well, I won't get into that.
Yeah, that's probably a smart move. Probably a smart move. Okay, now couple of final questions, and I realize right at the start this is kind of unfair. It's like asking who your favorite child is. But on the new album, what is your favorite cut? Let's start with the Jersey boy back there.
Well, I think, all of the songs on the album serve a purpose. They serve, they make up the total message that we are presenting in this project. So I think they're all important. But I guess Life is Beautiful probably is the one I think we all kind of feel is the most important song. Probably one of the best love songs that I've ever heard, you know. But it's also it's more than a love song. It's a song that also has a message that's very appropriate for the day and times in which we live right now. Dwayne does a great job of doing the vocal. It's amazing how, it's really well sung. That's a big part of it. But the song, it's a well written song as well, and it's really my favorite song on the album.
Okay, guys, are you gonna take the plunge?
Well, I have to concur with Richard that Life is Beautiful. I mean, I know that was one of the kind of that song kind of set the peg for the attitude of the album, I think. And it was really fun to sing some of the old gospel songs, like Swing Down Chariots on there, man, and Life's Railway to Heaven and The Uncloudy Day. And it was kind of fun in the studio to do the old gospel because it kind of reverts back to our roots as a Southern gospel quartet all those years. We learned how to sing in Southern gospel, man. And we always love to sing gospel songs. It's a part of us. It's a big part of what we are and who we are. And Dave Cobb, our producer, would say like, hey man, give me a song that you guys maybe have been singing for years, not necessarily even recorded it or even put it on stage, but just give me a song that maybe you would all sing together. And we'd start singing one of those old gospel songs. He'd go, man, that's it. Get behind the microphones. Let's do it. So along with the Life is Beautifuls and the Love, Light, and Healing and those kind of positive message songs, what could be even more positive to add as a foundation? Some good old gospel quartet singing.
There's a song on this album called Till I See You Again. And David walked into the studio one day. We'd already been recording, but we would usually get into the studio part and had some long tables, kind of in an L shape, where we'd lay out our lyrics to our songs and our chord charts and their titles and the demos of the songs. And we would kind of get organized an hour or two before each session. So David came in on, I believe, the second or third day, and he said, we don't have a song like this about grandma. And we're singing about singing on the front porch. Well, I can envision grandma having just lost grandpa. And the kids have all come home to visit grandma. But it's about time now for them all to leave. And they're all going out to their cars, getting in their cars, but for one last look and for one last goodbye, they all look back toward grandma. She's got her hand upon the pole on the porch, and they're all waving. And grandma says, till I see you again. And we've all got that in our mental picture of grandma or mom. And it can mean a number of different things. You can look at it in different ways. I know Joe had a different feeling of it when he first listened to the playback of this song. And I like for us to record songs that can be interpreted in different ways, because great writers know how to do that. And this song was given to us as an idea right before an afternoon session, and then it was given to a stable of writers. And before that session that afternoon ended, we had Till I See You Again. We recorded it the next day.
William Lee, your favorite cut?
Well, there's we all, I know, love Life is Beautiful. That's a positive song. It's, I think it's good for us, good for the times. It's just a great song. There's an old song on there, the spiritual song we did called Swing Down, Sweet Chariots.
Hmm.
That song takes me back to my high school FFA quartet. First time I sang in quartets was in the FFA quartet in high school. And we would sing that song, Swing Down, Sweet Chariot. But we'd sing that in our competition too. You know, we'd have a quartet competition with the other high schools around. Either you had bands or you had quartets. So our school had a quartet, and I happened to be one of the guys. And but that song is on there, and it's kind of flipped me back as we're there singing it. You know, around the microphone. Dave Cobb said, you know, what's something y'all could all sing, and all at once we flipped into that, and it kind of flipped me back into the 11th grade in high school. So I like that song, and I like some of the new songs on there. The last song on there, what's the name of it? It's about he's
The Paul Kennerly song?
yeah, it sounds like an old song, but it's a new song. You know, it sounds like something you've heard before. The last song on this album.
Trying to think of the title of it myself.
When he
When he calls.
When he calls.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm gonna live with Jesus. That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
there you go. Well, gentlemen, one last thing. I understand you're going back on the road next month. Your first stop's going to be here in Texas, Salado, Texas, at Johnny's Steak and Barbecue. Are you excited about getting on the road again?
Well, yeah, you know, our date book has been rather sparse lately. We've done 4 shows this year is all we've done, and they were good ones. But as we start to progress here, there's more and more shows coming up. And you're right. We've got that show coming up at the steakhouse there. And I thought to myself, I'll be honest with you, I thought to myself, oh boy, the good news, we're back singing. The bad news is we're playing a steakhouse. But then I heard, oh no, this is a great place here, man.
Oh,
Every
yes.
act plays here. And you not only get to play in a nice venue, but you get a great steak.
That-
It's a Texas barbecue.
So
what a
that-
deal. What a
that
deal.
got me excited about playing that place. But hey, yeah, the thing is, we're going to be singing more and more, and we keep getting busier and busier as the months go by. And a lot of the dates that have stayed in the book and not went away are still there. So we're thinking if this light comes at the end of the tunnel and we can get through this thing to a point where we can get out there and play these dates, hey man, we're back in business. We're ready to go.
We still have 80 to 85 dates left in the date book to work last 6, 7 months of the year.
Well, that's
gonna be busy.
terrific. That's terrific. Well, gentlemen, good luck with the new album. Good luck with your tour, and congratulations on 40 years of Elvira.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. And by the way, we have Cowboys and Indians magazine on our bus every time it comes out. And you guys have been good to us over the years. And didn't they do a feature on you years ago?
They did a thing about my art,
Yeah,
in a page in the back there at one time.
I remember that. And also, I think we follow each other on Twitter.
Mhm.
So thank you for the love and support from Cowboys and Indians. That's a great magazine.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's always good to get the professional compliment.
Sir.
Well,
Good luck.
Only one of my exes live in Texas.
Oh, well, that's probably good.
Yeah, you can
Well,
read about it in the new book.
Yeah, it'll tell about it in the book.
Hey,
well,
Joe, take
be-
care, man. I hope you get your house back together and everything gets better for you there. That
There
was
you
a
go.
that was a rough storm. It hurt a lot of people.
And me and my wife Simone, we have a dog that Miranda Lambert rescued from Houston at the Houston flood. He was a 7-week-old puppy that they got out of one of the shelters there. And Miranda and Dustin, they sent Simone the pictures of it. So she said, yeah, we had lost 2 dogs 6 months before that, 2 different ones in 6 weeks to cancer. And so we were ready for a new puppy. And anyhow, our puppy's 3 years old now, Samson, but he came from Houston there. Miranda Lambert brought him up there on her bus and brought him to Simone while we were out on tour. But Yeah, so I think of that often playing with my dog there, of him being from Houston. And so Cowboys and Indians is headquartered there.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, and be well and stay safe.
Thank you,
Yes,
Joe.
sir.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jeff.
take care, brother.